Empower employees with self-service on SharePoint Online. Transform Office 365 into a digital workplace for your organization. I'm Daryl Trimble, CEO of SP Marketplace. We provide SP Workplace solutions, which are best practice intranet structure modules to fit with your organization. We help you transform Office 365 into a digital workplace with out-of-the-box SharePoint portals and application. We started in 2012. We're located in Northern California, and we are a multiple Microsoft partner. And today we actually have over 1,350 organizations around the world using our products. In this webinar, what you'll learn is how to take your Office 365, which you may be only using for email and some document storage, to the next level with SharePoint Online. We're going to show you how to maximize your ROI and drive productivity across your organization, leveraging employee self-service. We'll talk a little bit about small to medium business challenges, how to provide support services while keeping your internal overhead costs low, how to make your employees more productive in their jobs by making things available to them for them to find, and how to leverage cloud services like Office 365 to empower employees with self-service. We'll introduce an intranet structure that empowers employees with self-service, which has a common internal business structure for news, documents, files, and services, and provides process automation for key IT processes, HR, finance, and so on. We're going to demonstrate a digital workplace built on SharePoint that offers this self-service model. So let's take a look first at the challenges. How to keep internal overhead costs low, that being people in many cases, while delivering high levels of employee services in your organization. How to really deliver more service with less cost in organization internal departments like IT, HR, administration, finance, and others. So one of the key measures in any business, especially when we're taking a look at startups and small businesses, is how many employees or headcount does it take to support every 100 employees. And if we take a look at it, one of the things we see is for those organizations that still provide manual business processes, don't have self-service put in place, that it's a much higher ratio in both HR, IT, and other internal services as the more employees you add. And in fact, that ratio often doesn't change and becomes a problem when you get into the over 100, into 250 employees and 400 employees and supporting them. And what we see is that the ratio really either stays the same or actually goes up in the number of FTEs or full-time equivalents that it takes to support your employees internally. And that is a problem. And what we find is that if you do not put in self-service and some automation, that this actually can start to hurt your profitability quite a bit. And so when we also take a look at the impact on employees, okay, it's not just the cost of how many people it takes to support those employees, but really it's how much time do employees spend doing really non-job related administration type functions of looking for documents or interacting with your service organizations like IT, HR, other things, to get services, to find things, to ask questions. And in recent surveys, it shows that it could be as much as 35% of their time can be spent on non-primary job-related functions because things are hard to find, there's no business structure, and no self-service set up. And that's really the areas, if we take a look at the business case for this, that the impact of self-service can really make a difference. And really, if we take a look at drilling down a little bit of this, is a lot of the problem is that there is no kind of internal business structure for things like communication of news and announcements. Things go past in emails and overuse. The other causes of what we call overhead full-time equivalent sprawl is organic growth of departments starting to grow and then doing things differently, having no consistency across the departments. Manual processes, everything from asking from time off to tracking requests for service and so on, will equal more overhead headcount to make up for this. And then the whole concept of a chaotic internal business structure. And what we mean by that is no document organization, no way to get services, and so on, in a consistent way across departments, causes, again, more time to be spent on administrative type functions, both by the employee and the requirement of more headcount to serve those employees. So one of the things that's key here is this concept that there is no consistent internal business structure for how documents are basically organized in files and resources, that employees spend too much time looking for what they need. They also spend a lot of time on the telephone and on email requesting services or having questions about perhaps what changes in benefits or what policy there is for expenses and so on, because there's no common help desk or service request. News and collaboration even impacts it in that, if there's an announcement that an employee needs to see, often it goes by in email and there's no destination for them to see it. And there's really no internal services measurement, say, for the CFO or the COO, whoever these departments report to show how much time is actually being spent on internal services. It really is all about there is no infrastructure that you've set up and many organizations have set up. And this is particularly true for startups to small organizations who felt they don't really need this because it's not a problem. They don't have enough people to worry about it. But it will catch up to you, and it does impact your ability to grow. And after a while, what we find in many organizations is chaos. Chaos because of the time-consuming manual processes for things like getting approvals or paper forms, redundant data entry by these departments, requiring more and more headcount to put some of the key things into your systems. Paper all over the place, lost forms, overuse of email for approvals, for news, for anything, it gets lost. No document organization, so employees have to request documents as opposed to finding it themselves, and often chaotic communications, lost meetings, lost announcements, those type of things, because they're coming over email. So, all of this in the back end is going on. Well, of course, you may have your priority to look at your ERP system, to look at your, sales system and service system. But if your employees cannot be productive and actually get the things they need themselves, it's going to cost you much more. And it goes right to your bottom line. So what is the solution? Well, we think the solution is to empower employees with self-service and with Office 365 and SharePoint. And if you look at almost every industry, banking, online shopping, everything, it's all going to self-service. It's providing the technology and the systems to empower the customer to really go in and find the things they need, buy the things they need online, and not require headcount to get what they need as far as services. And we're going to apply the same concept here with employee self-service, leveraging Office 365 and SharePoint, allowing you to provide more services and better services at a much lower cost than traditional methods. So what we've seen in our customers that have put in place this self-service model is quite an impact. It's really the ability to do more with less headcount in overhead departments here. And so if we take a look at our original kind of graph here of what is typical in organizations with these size employee counts here, we see that you can have the opportunity to greatly reduce the amount of overhead full-time equivalents to serve and provide services internally for this number of employees out here. And we also find that you actually decrease the rate of growth of overhead full-time equivalents or staff to support that as you grow further too. The other, and probably other bigger impact, is that you get more productive employees. They spend less time on the administrative type things and more time on their primary job function, which means you get more productivity out of your employees and they're more effective as well. So let's talk a little bit about the solution, okay? And we'll cover some key areas here. First of all, providing self-service to information and knowledge. How do I register a new family member in benefits? How do I request a new computer if mine is not working well? Or how do I get help in possibly, getting an office light fixed or something like that? Do I have to go in and make phone calls? Or can I actually potentially find out myself what forms I need to fill out or where I need to go or even how to fix it myself? And this is the thing that says, what if you put a self-service information type of kiosk capability up where employees could go in and look up for themselves answers to questions that they previously might have sent emails or called one of these departments and had somebody have to reference it and provide the answers. Also, if they needed something, instead of playing telephone tag and phone calls for services, you could put in a service request system and automate some of the assignment and tracking and status checking overall. And the benefit would be less time required from department staff and from employees themselves. Another key area that there's a lot of time consumed is, what if employees could actually find the documents themselves or actually go to like a Doc Central type place that they could browse or search for key documents? And to do this, what is required is a consistent way to organize documents across departments. And so why not actually create, using technology, a Doc Central type of portal and have a search that employees could find what they need, perhaps either anything from, say, like the latest PowerPoint quick reference card to what's our latest policy for dress code, drug testing, whatever it might be. Now they don't have to send in questions. They can go out and find the document themselves. And also, it allows internal departments to actually create what we call employee service portals. A portal like a bank branch almost, that employees could go in and get services in a consistent way from any department. Again, less time wasted by employees and department staff, because employees and the mechanism is set up so that employees can find things themselves, get their own answers as well. And what if employees could actually find easily, business processes or forms to submit and have auto approvals, etc.? You're going to have less time with employees, again, asking, how do I do this? Where do I get approval? Where's my approval? That type of thing that often goes by in email and manual processes. So why not, just like a Doc Central, set up a Process Central where they can find forms or link to business processes if they want to do time off request or submit an expense report or anything from a single place, a single destination. And managers can spend less time kind of searching what approvals do they need to do by searching their emails, maybe they missed it, and put in a more common approval process. The benefit here is easy access to commonly used processes. It saves time for all levels in the organization and hopefully saves time in these departments of doing any redundant data entry from paper forms or other things. And what if internal service departments like HRIT could provide a consistent service portal? Again, going back to what I mentioned earlier of gathering up these capabilities here and presenting to the employee a employee service portal, both across departments and perhaps even with for specific functions. So you could deliver self-service in a consistent format across the organization and in a way leveraging Office 365 and SharePoint and a common user experience to drive adoption and save time. So this is all about putting together a self-service infrastructure through a set of portals and ways that you're organizing your documents. And what you'll find is that you actually already have the capability to do this, of moving from kind of this chaotic, everything all over the place, to a nice structured way to organize self-service in Office 365. It's all there. You just have to take advantage of it. Now, the potential is there with Office 365. The problem is in the way it's delivered. It's really delivered in a number of tools and services and parts and pizzas that you have to end up building the solution. And what happens in many Office 365 deployments is that the organization just deploys the different services and without any real solution design there, and it really overwhelms the users, and therefore it often stops at only using 10 to 15% of the total capability of Office 365. So perhaps if you're using it for just email and some document storage, you're really missing the opportunity to take advantage of this for employee self-service. And if we take a look at those that do kind of put in place or try to put in place a portal structure that drives some of this, what we find is it's also just as confusing. People are very confused about where they should use different components or different collaboration ways to go about it, such as Microsoft Teams, Office 365 groups, SharePoint communication sites, team sites, where does hub sites fit in, and it's all very confusing. So again, while all the parts and pieces are there, the solution, the delivered solution, is really not there, or a lot of organizations don't have the best practices to put in place an overall employee self-service structure through an intranet portal structure. And one of the things that you first need to understand about employee self-service is it's just like best practices for customer service. And if you look at customer service, the key thing is consistency. If you look at banking, banks have a very common and a consistent way to design their branches. And so that when the employee walks in the door, they don't have to think about, where do I get the service? Where do I get the information? They know that the tellers are on the right. That's where I go to get transactions. The desk with the services and managers is setting up loans and everything is on the other side. There's probably a kiosk with information with such as brochures. And it doesn't matter whether you're in Paris or whether you're in Los Angeles, it's set up the same. And the whole goal here is to minimize the amount of time spent looking for the service or solution and being able to serve right up that service or solution. We see it in fast food with McDonald's. You don't walk into McDonald's and go, how do I do this? And we see it in retail. Well, why not apply it to your own organization and set up a consistent way that internal departments can provide services to employees such that you can enable self-service for the employees? And that's really what we found is important when setting up a portal structure, leveraging an intranet, because really the real return on investment is not that pretty homepage with some news on it. It's really all about empowering the employees with self-service so that they can get what they need to do their job, and also departments aren't overwhelmed with the amount of work it takes to support the organization and the number of employees. So we found actually there is a best services or best practice structure, which we call an operational portal structure, with an intranet at the top level, which is really your place for information. That's where they get news, information, events, and so on. But don't try to make it everything, okay? We've seen some intranet sites with over 100 links, which becomes overwhelming, poorly designed, trying to put everything in one place. And it's all about putting in place a structure that's easy and intuitive and also provides really built around self-service. So one of the things we found is that it's important to have what we call an employee self-service or employee central portal, which provides really three key areas there. It's the Doc Central, which is where employees can go to get to policies, procedures, forms, documents, files, those type of things in one place. They may not physically reside there, but there is a search and there's a capability for the employee to find what they need there. We also have Help Central. And one of the important things is to have a common service request system that employees can ask for services, not just from IT with a help desk, but from the other departments as well, in putting in place that same kind of structured service request system to avoid the email and phone tag type of time-wasting things. And then finally, let's consolidate processes across the different departments in one place that employees can link to the different processes that they use every month, every week, possibly in some cases every day, with time off, expenses, purchase requests, those type of things, all being linked to from here. And what this does is it consolidates across departments a common way for employees to get to different services that they need. Now, we also know that you can't consolidate everything. There are things that you need to get from IT or HR or facilities or even the latest marketing collateral and so on. And that's where really the department design is very important. So these are each portals that are part of the structure, that are part of an intuitive set of navigation to get to, or in essence, they're service destinations. And so for departments, instead of just setting up team sites and peer-to-peer type sites like Teams, we think that service departments should be actually treated a little bit specially in what you provide for them. They need to be able to have that bank branch or service portal, what we call an employee portal, that employees could actually enter in and get what they want, whether it be a service request, whether it be a knowledge base or frequently asked questions, or even just see specific announcements and events from that department. That's what we call an employee portal. And on the other side of the department, though, you do need to have an area that is secure and confidential to the staff, where they can also manage documents, manage activities, processes, and so on. And that's what we call our staff portal. So this is an overall operational portal structure that we found works very well in over 1,000 organizations. And we've built this best practice really with those organizations in real experiences. So what we've done is to provide a set of out-of-the-box solutions, which actually implements that best practice area there. And so that you can have this overall structure. These are out-of-the-box SharePoint online portals, natively built. We do leverage team sites and communication sites. We can work within a hub structure, but it is already well thought out and is done for you. Then we also have business processes built in SharePoint, taking advantage of things like Flow for automation, totally integrated with your Office 365 and leverages that experience. And so you can actually plug in things like IT help desk, HR onboarding and employee record management, facilities work orders, and others too, which now creates a not only the find documents, see the news, all that type of thing, get service requests, but also provide some of the process automation that, again, some small to medium organizations may not have put in yet and are still doing on Excel spreadsheets. And you can configure this to fit your organization. We actually have something called the Employee Services Suite, which actually packages up the intranet, the employee self-service, Doc Central, and so on, with also generic departments, which you can apply. This company applied it to finance, to a safety department, to services department. But also we have out-of-the-box, fully process-oriented departments where we've inserted the business processes into the department for a full HR functional department and IT. This is what we call our Employee Services Suite, and it allows you to put together this configuration for your organization and out of the box move from that chaos and manual business processes to automation for those internal service departments. We've built this all on SharePoint, and we also have others modules for customer service. We actually have a full CRM. This is not Dynamics. This is a built-out CRM leveraging this same platform. We've built them on SharePoint Online. They're out-of-the-box ready. They are native no-code solutions, and the best thing about that is they're 100% customizable by Power Business users, and they support all mobile devices. They also take advantage of the Power Platform from Microsoft. So we've used Flow, Power Apps, Power BI, and connectors, which allows you to connect to different applications and platforms as well with no code. So it's not only a out-of-the-box set of solutions, but because it's 100% customizable, it's also a kit that can allow you to modify it to whatever you need to fit your organization, as well as we provide services to do that with you and work with you as well, to put in place that best practice employee self-service structure. The best thing, too, is it also integrates completely with your Office 365, carries through that common user experience with this, and it really becomes kind of the contextual structure for how you can take advantage of Office 365 services because it is fully integrated with it. So let's take a look at a demonstration. So in this demonstration, what we'll do is we'll show you the employee experience going into the top level, which is the kind of organization homepage, the intranet homepage, where we'll see that the employee can get quickly up to date on things that are going on, news and information, and have a personalized navigation experience in there based on the things that they need to get to in their workday. We'll also show how the employee can go in and find a policy, get to the documents and files that they need, to how they can also find business processes as well. And then also, we'll show the employee going into a department such as finance here, a generic department for that we provide portals for, and how they can actually make a service request, how they can see what's going on, and get what they need very quickly. And then also, we will show you a full functional department of HR, both from the employee perspective and the staff perspective as well, too, and show you some of the different functionality that the HR business processes that we have for the staff to automate different business processes. So I'm actually in my Office 365. You can see here's my email, my calendar. One of the things that we see that can be overwhelming with Office 365 is this app launcher. And so what we see is many organizations deploying an intranet homepage really to provide a better way and a more contextual way for employees to get services and information from the organization, rather than just a bunch of services out there. And so the employee actually comes into the intranet homepage here, and from here they can see the message of the day, they can see announcements, which actually are pushed up to here, they can see any company events and also company news and industry news out here, and be able to see what's going on. It even recognizes what department they're in and what locality or location they're in, and provides personalized news. Also, we can see, such as we have a Twitter feed here as well. This is the out-of-the-box solution from SP Marketplace, all set up and ready to go. We have taken the great modern experience provided in SharePoint that you can get, and already built out a lot of this. And we've done this adding our own web parts and capabilities to do this. And so now that I'm up on the news, I can also navigate to anything that I need. I could go in and, go into people search, take advantage of that through an employee directory. I can also hover over anybody and directly talk to them through Skype or email them or whatever here too, because everything is live as well. I can even see the last interactions that I had with them. I can also go in, and we have options for doing a thing like an org chart within the organization, and the content manager can actually set up different links. It could be out to your payroll system, your ERP system, whatever. I can even go in and take a look at my own personalized links that I've picked out that I want to see here. So I can actually go to my calendar, my planner, my email, or even out to a Power BI executive dashboard. So again, this is built out so that the employee can, in one place, see all the information, news, events, and so on that they need to as well. They can even go into quick links here for a frequently asked questions, a company blog, references, even office locations as well too. And also into employee services to find documents. This is the second level, to perhaps locate a business process for time off as well too. So what we've done is designed this so that it becomes a self-service information point for employees. Now, if I also need to get services from, let's say, one of the departments, finance, IT, or whatever, I can also visit them and into their service portal. Let's first of all go and take a look at, maybe I want to find a certain policy or document. Here is where I can actually go to Doc Central, where I'm presented with different options here. I could go right to the employee handbook, so frequently used documents can be here. I could search in policies, procedures, and forms here. So I could say I want to see the latest drug testing policy, because they just made marijuana a recreational drug in California here. So I can see how this has changed. But I could go in and look across all policies and procedures, find what I need. I could also find forms here as well, or I could actually go in and search for something. And so maybe I want to find the latest Excel quick reference card, because I'm working on a fairly detailed spreadsheet. And here I can do this, and again, it kicks in Office 365, so I can find these things. So these are all things that just don't come out of the box with SharePoint. You actually have to build in a Doc Central. We also have Process Central. So this is the place that I could also go and get, for instance, to my business processes myself. I don't have to, call in or ask questions from the different departments here. I can get right to, let's say, an expense report, or access the payroll systems or ERP system. I can look at a time off calendar and so on right here. And again, the key thing here is I'm able to go to a destination that's been defined for this very easily in a self-service mode. And that's the key to self-service, is the ability to have it designed so employees can navigate to the things that they need in one place. Now, let's say I needed to get services from, let's say, finance. Maybe I need to get the latest report for my department on budget versus actual. By clicking finance, and because I am not part of the finance department, it actually takes me to the service portal for finance. And so I can see any announcements from the finance staff. I can see any events This is a solar company, so they're actually putting on a tax credits review for the sales staff here, or anybody that wants to attend. I could put in a service request because every department has consistent service request system built in. I could look up my own answers in a knowledge base or look for useful docs as well. And I can see department news or the status of any service requests I've put in. So there's no longer the need to wonder, did they get my request? Are they working on it? I can see the status of it right from here. Now, one of the things I didn't mention earlier, too, is that everything is personalized. I happen to be an administrator here, so it shows everything. But as an employee, I would see only a specific menu here with these two showing, and then also this is all for the finance staff and admin. So again, just know that I'm not signed in necessarily as an employee for this to show different things. So as an employee, I could go in and make a service request, have it tracked, all the notifications are built in. It is a full help desk system, and each department has one. And so it makes it very easy for me to either answer my own questions through a knowledge base, find the document or file that I need, or if I can't find what I need at last resort, put in that service request. So let's go back out to the intranet and also see what it looks like for the staff itself. So we've really seen how an employee can get self-service here, but now let's actually take a look at what it would be for somebody in the finance staff. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this again. And here we see now that I enter the staff portal for finance. And this is the portal that the finance staff actually gets things done, organize things as well. It's also the place where we can bring in components of Office 365, such as linking to the finance teams site, linking to the finance calendar and planner and conversations here right within this. And we can see that we have finance events. I can talk to other people in the department by just hovering over them, and I can see any service requests coming in and assign those. It's also a place for linking to the different things our staff needs to use, as well as an internal knowledge base, as well as department resources like setting up the announcements for the service portal, a contacts kind of database that, for our auditors and outside people the finance staff works with as well. And we also have a My Workspace, which again is where I can actually go in and see everything that is assigned to me. So it's really a portal for the department staff of the group to be able to organize things, to, for instance, get to, my email, see what service requests I've been assigned, see what documents I'm working on, as well as any tasks that are assigned to me, all in one place in the department home here called the staff portal. And this is all pre-designed, out of the box, but you can set your own logos, you can change colors, you can even add lists and libraries. It is 100% customizable by Power Business users. But let's just take a look and see what we've seen. We've gone in, we've seen an employee go in here, we've seen how self-service is enabled here and in a service portal here as well. And let's take a look at one other department, that being HR. And because obviously HR is something that a lot of people go to. Finance might be questions on expense reports, or might be asking for different budget reports or other things from them. Safety, we see a lot of organizations converting that service request system to incident tracking as well. Customer service is where they're organizing things there. As well as in HR, obviously there's a lot of employee services and interaction going on. So I'm back at my intranet home. Now as an employee, if I go to HR here, and by the way, one of the things that I didn't mention is you can see that a lot of these announcements and company news and so on are actually pushed up from the different departments here. And so they're actually entered at that department level and actually they click off a box, it pushes it up here, and there is full content approval, scheduling, targeting, all of that type of thing with both news, events, and the announcements here. So let's take a look at HR from the employee perspective. So here we have the HR portal, and this is where I can, of course, do the same things we saw in the other department, but we've added some things because this is fully functional HR department. And so we have the service request. We have the ability for me to update my employee records with new address, new phone numbers, any new information, so that HR people don't have to actually sit and enter that. I could look up useful documents. Again, this could be how to conduct an interview. It could be a specialized form if it's not up in Doc Central there, and even a knowledge base that I can get my own answers. Here is announcements specifically from HR, any events. I can see there's a new manager training that I was scheduled for, and any service request I've put in there, I can see the status. So again, very much applied to HR, but the key thing here is when I look at anything in here, it's only mine. It's filtered to me, and it is fully secure. I do not see any of the other information here. It is really a self-service portal for employees here. And then let's take a look at the other side of the portal, which is the staff side of the HR portal. And you'll notice something different here. And what that is it's not just a generic department portal. It's actually a full HRIS system. And this is where we can actually track employee records, employee documents. We can actually go in on employee management and track any updates, employee changes. This would be things that managers might submit, like a promotion or salary change. I can manage employee documents, employee compliance and certifications, benefit plans and what benefits have been selected, and fully manage performance reviews within here with full automation of reminding the manager when their reviews due and so on. And all of this is cross-referenced to the employee records, which if you go in and take a look on our site at our HR demonstration, we fully go into all of these. Around the process automation side, we have the ability to do full kind of hiring, recruitment, all that type of thing with job requisitions, capturing applicants from your website, candidates and interviews, tracking resumes. And then once you decide to hire somebody, we have full onboard, offboard capabilities, as well as a new hire portal that new employees can come in and finish their documents or anything else, putting in their employee information. So again, saving a lot of manual process time with the full HRIS or MS system too. So in essence, we've kind of given you a high-level tour of what our overall self-service kind of portal structure looks like. And it's something that is out of the box that we deliver. But if you don't wish to buy it from us, you could try to build this, and you could build a simple version of this for you. But this does give out-of-the-box best practices to really drive self-service and get that ROI out of Office 365 and SharePoint. So that was a quick tour of what a employee self-service type of deployment using SharePoint Online and portals looks like. You can see more and more detail at spmarketplace.com. We hope this has been informative and educational for you, whether you choose to use our out-of-the-box solutions or build your own using some of the basic SharePoint type of capabilities. And again, employee self-service is your real key to ROI for your Office 365 and intranet solution. Thank you for attending.